Stewart. Mr. Rogers.
When did the furlough policy go into effect? What date?
The furlough itself went into effect with the pay period that began on Sunday, April 21st.
On when?
Sunday, April 21st.
Yeah.
The furlough itself, we had to notify employees. There were two notifications starting about 5 weeks ahead of that, where we notified them of the possibility of furlough and then the intent that we were actually going to carry it out.
So that was April when they got the detail word.
No. They got the detailed word. I'll get back to you with an exact date, but we did provide them an official notification that it would start, and I think it was a week or two before April 21st.
Well, nevertheless, it was, what, a week ago, 10 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear you correctly say that you first gave the airlines and airports and the infrastructure notice of how this thing was going to be applied last Wednesday?
No. What I said was that we provided notification to them of the general impact. We provided operational details.
I'm not worried about general impact.
Tuesday.
I want you to tell us when you told them the details of which airports, at what times, they would have trouble. Now, that was last Wednesday, as I understand it.
Tuesday.
Last Tuesday?
Yes.
Pardon me. Which was a few days before it went into effect.
That's correct.
And we've got hundreds of airports. We've got dozens of airlines. We've got millions of Americans wanting to make their plans for travel. Why did you wait until that long to tell these functionaries, the airlines, the airports, and the personnel, the detailed impact of sequester? Why wait that long? You've had this under consideration, as you said, for several months. But you waited until hours before it was to be placed into effect to tell the relevant stakeholders. I find that shocking. A shocking lapse of management. Would you comment on that?
We built detailed schedules within each of these facilities, and we shared this information with the airlines as we had it.
And that was a few hours before it went into effect. But you've been doing this for months. Why couldn't you have brought them in earlier so that they could make their plans?
We have been talking about general impacts.
General impacts, again. I'm not worried about, they knew the general impacts.
But we have been talking about reduction in available controller hours of 10% for months.
But you didn't tell them which airports, which airlines.
We told them that they should expect significant impacts at major hub facilities.
Well, la-ti-da. Everyone knew that. That's what sequester is all about. But it's important for them to plan their schedules and their hours and their planes and the airports, their management personnel. They needed to know detailed impact on them as early as could be had. And you had months to do that, and yet you refused. I find that shocking.
I don't think we refused. I would say that what we wanted to do was conduct a proper schedule and analysis of it and then provide them the best information we could.
How did you inform them?
We informed them in a meeting that we had at the command center.
A meeting?
Yes.
Between whom?
Our operations team, led by our air traffic organization.
Now, when did you inform the airlines, the airports?
We talked.
How did you inform them?
We talked in a meeting. We've had a number of meetings with the aviation industry, first about contract towers and then talking about the impacts associated from the furlough.
You mean you got all the airlines in the room?
We get together with them every day in an operational capacity.
And there's hundreds of airports. Did you have them in the meeting?
The airports, we certainly know not every airport is affected by the impacts of the furloughs, but we certainly identified through their associations the major impacted airports.
So you did this with a conference call?
No, with a meeting.
Did you ask them for their input, their suggestions, their ideas?
We are continuing to have that conversation. We shared with them, this is what our analysis showed, and we will continue that discussion every day going forward.
Did you take into account the complaints, the information that they gave to you?
Absolutely.
Were they shocked when you told them at the last minute of the impact on their airline?
You would need to talk with them about what their reaction was, but they expressed great concern.
Now, you mentioned, I think, that there were some long-term projects that FAA has invested in, and that you don't really want to take much from those projects for fear of derailing the progress. Can you tell us what those projects are?
That's the investment in our next-generation air transportation system.
In light of the current situation, do those projects really have priority over the operation of commercial airspace?
There are two pieces to that answer. The first is I don't have the flexibility to transfer from my facilities and equipment account, which funds those projects, to the operations account. But the second point is these projects will have important benefits for efficiency long term, and I think that we need to get on with making those investments to ensure efficiency.
Have you asked the Congress for those changes to allow you to do that?
No.
That's what I thought. Thank you.